Hi everyone, I'm Chung Wen for Gotta Be Mobile, and in this video, this is the second part of our two-part video review of the Nokia Lumia 1020. We're going to go ahead and cover some of the software behind the phone. The Nokia Lumia 1020 does run the standard Windows Phone 8 operating system, so here you have resizable live tiles. You can have a smaller tile, as you can see here. I've configured it on the top row, which just gives you the icon and it doesn't give you any of the live features. In order to have the live features, you need a 2x2 icon, as you can see here in the calendar icon here, or you need a 4x2 icon that occupies the entire width of the screen, as you can see here in the Mail application and the CNN app. So if there's any new information, it will show up in the live tile, and you can see it just automatically updates in the background. Unfortunately, unlike Android and iOS, Windows Phone 8 still does not have a notification center where all the notifications are aggregated on one display, but each tile can update you to what's any notifications that you have. They're sort of little resizable widgets that you place on one home screen. So there are two screens actually to Windows Phone. This is the Metro UI, and then once you swipe over, it will give you an alphabetical list of all the applications that are installed on the phone. So between these two screens, it's nice that you have a curved display here because it does add to usability once you're swiping between different screens. So that's a nice hardware meets software feature that Nokia and Microsoft worked on that enhances the user experience. In terms of how apps look themselves, let's go ahead and open up the Office application. Microsoft uses what it calls a panoramic UI for, this is the hub, so not only do you get all the documents that are stored inside the Office, Microsoft Office for mobile, but you can also find documents in other places. So anytime there's a Word document, an Excel spreadsheet, or even a PowerPoint presentation, it's gonna aggregate it into this hub. So in the hub itself, it's gonna search for documents that are on your phone, in your emails as attachments, on SkyDrive or Office 365, and if there are other apps that integrate with documents, it's going to show up in this hub as well. So it integrates third-party apps to make it for a cleaner interface so you don't have to search different apps for all your documents. So the panoramic UI, back to that, means that you're going to see, this is the main screen, so you're going to see a vertical list, and you're going to see a little bit of a preview to the right here, which means that there's more content to slide over to. So this is the panoramic UI. So it gives you just more content, easy swipe. So swipe left to right for different categories, and within the category you can swipe up and down. So these are just the recent apps. So just a standard presentation. We're gonna go ahead and download it. There's nothing on this presentation, it's just one page. So that's just the Office hub for you at a glance. Another hub would be the Music hub. And the Music hub, again, integrates Microsoft's Xbox Music and Video, so you can go ahead and buy an Xbox Music subscription or pass. You can download individual tracks as well. And it also integrates different third-party music and video apps that you've downloaded through the Windows Phone store. So I have AT&T Radio, which was preloaded, Audible, Cloud Music, and launching any of these would launch the individual app themselves. So it's just a shortcut to launching the individual app. Windows Phone still is a vertical UI or vertical user experience, meaning you're going to use most of it in portrait orientation, especially from the main home screen, because once you flip it to landscape, it doesn't change. So at least from the home screen experience, it's going to be a portrait-oriented affair. So that's the basics behind Windows Phone 8. Nokia does include a number of different customized apps that come preloaded. One of my favorites is Nokia Drive Plus, which now integrates traffic for your commute. So you can go ahead and either pre-download the app so it doesn't use your data. So you can do this over Wi-Fi, or you can have the map download data or download sections of the map when you're going along. So if you haven't downloaded the map yet, you can still use it with a data plan. So that's the nice part. It's like Google Maps, except for it gives you the option for locally stored onboard map storage. So this is a 32 gigabyte smartphone, so you have up to 32 gigs for all your content, including maps. So this is just how the mapping interface works, and it gives you a voice-guided turn-by-turn navigation. And then once you go ahead and swipe this up, you can go ahead and set a destination. So let's go ahead and find a Nordstrom department store. So you can either type in an address or a term to search for, and it will give you the results. And let's go ahead and tap this one, and then we can go ahead and start. So we'll download the voice later, but this is how the guidance looks. And there is text to speech, so it will announce the street names for when you turn. So it will tell you to turn on Main Street, for example. So it's not going to tell you just to turn left, but it will tell you to turn left onto Main Street. So that's one of the Nokia apps that I'm very fond of. Another one is Nokia Music, which is a free music streaming app. So you can go ahead and create, Nokia creates these playlists that you can tap into, and you can go ahead and store, I believe it's up to 25 songs. So unlike Pandora, you can go ahead and store songs on your phone. So if you're in the middle of a flight without Wi-Fi connection, for example, you can still continue to play your music. And a more premium subscription to Nokia Music will allow users to have higher quality songs, so it's going to stream at a better fidelity. Let's go ahead and take a look at the camera UI, because this does have a large sensor, and not just only a large sensor, but a 41 megapixel sensor. So the sensor size is about 1/1.5 inch, which is larger than even a standard point and shoot, which has a 1/, I think it's a 2.3 inch sensor. So this isn't quite as large as some of the basic mirrorless camera like the Nikon 1 series, which has a 1 inch sensor, but it's pretty close with a 1/1.5 inch sensor with a 41 megapixel image resolution. So to launch the camera, all you have to do is go into the Nokia Pro camera. You can launch it either from the home screen, from the app screen, or if you just, even when the display is off, if you press and hold the camera shutter, which is a dual stage camera shutter button, so if you press and hold it for a few seconds, it's going to go ahead and just turn on the phone and launch you directly into the camera application. The camera app does give you creative control as well. So as you can see here, everything is set into auto. I'm going to go ahead and throw on, this is the Nokia Lumia 920 here that I have on the table. You'll notice right away that if you tap, unlike the standard Windows Phone camera application, now if you tap, it just focuses and it's not going to just instantly take the image. So now if I just tap, I'm going to have visual confirmation that my image is in focus with this live preview on my display. And then if I want to, I can either tap the camera shutter on screen, or I can go ahead and push in the camera shutter here to capture my image that way. Another way to focus is just to press down halfway on the physical camera shutter button, and it will go ahead and try to focus the image for you. And then once you like the focus, you can just press in hard to capture the image. And then if you see this the camera shutter button on the display here on the right hand side, if I go ahead and just pull it in, I'm going to go ahead and get more options to control my camera. So this is a nice part for photo enthusiasts and professionals who like having more exposure control. So it has basically almost all your settings for your exposure, including your white balance, your focus. So you can go ahead and manually focus if you want things in the foreground to be in focus or things in the background to be focused. You can go ahead and adjust your ISO. So if you're in a darker room, you might want to crank up the ISO, but if you're in bright sunlight, just keep it down low at about 100 or 200 and you're good to go. And then you can also adjust your shutter speed as well as your exposure compensation. So right now, basically, the phone is telling me that this is about the right look for my image. However, if I wanted the image to be brighter, I can compensate and tell my phone that hey, I want a brighter image, and it will go ahead and pump up the brightness, but you're going to lose some detail. If I want to go ahead and darken my image, I'm not going to see a lot of it, but it's going to retain more detail. But let's go ahead and just keep it at 0. So depending on if you're shooting in the shade or if you're shooting into bright sunlight, you might want to adjust the exposure compensation. And once you go ahead and start adjusting things, if this is blocking your scene so you're not seeing what you want to see, you can go ahead and just slide it back and out of the way, and then you can go ahead and adjust it. And then once you're done, you can go ahead and tap, and it will take a picture. So by default, the camera is set up to take the camera images, the resolution doesn't take up the full sensor size. But by default, let's go ahead and go to the settings. By default, it's going to show you, it's going to take a 16:9 aspect ratio, which gives you a 34 megapixel image. If you change to a 4:3 aspect ratio, it's going to give you a 38 megapixel image. So I'm going to just keep it at 16:9 because it takes up the full frame or the full screen. And then by default, it's going to take 2 images at the same time. It's going to take a 5 megapixel image, which is great for sharing if you're sending something via MMS messaging, or if you're using NFC or emailing or just sharing to social networks. The 5 megapixel image works great. And then it's also going to capture a 34 megapixel image, which has more detail, but it's going to be a larger file size. So you're going to go ahead and plug this into your computer and download those images that way. And then you can go ahead and have face detection turn on or off. And we're going to go ahead and keep it on. So that's a little bit about the camera interface on the Nokia ProCam. Another camera that you can download from the Windows Phone Store is called the Nokia Smart Camera. So let's go ahead and go down here. So this is the smart camera, and essentially it's going to take a series of shots, and then it's going to apply the effects, and it's going to take, I think, 5 shots, and then it's going to apply some effects to it. So I've taken some shots in San Francisco earlier today when I went to a Verizon briefing. This is on the Embarcadero near the Bay Bridge. This is the best image of the 5 or 10 or however many, I think it takes 5 or 10. But this is the best image that the camera recommends. If I wanted to do an action shot where it overlays the action to show that this gentleman is moving from the right of the display towards the center, it's going to do that. And there's another person here who's moving from the left towards the center. So it gives you this action trail. And then if you want motion focus, it's going to blur out everything else except for the person who's moving. So as you can see here, most of the action is right in the middle here, where the guy is walking forward and the people in the back are walking towards the center. And then change phases, this one's blocked out, but essentially if you're taking a group shot and someone's blinking or someone's not smiling, you can swap out various different faces to create the best group shot. Out of all it's going to select, you're going to have 10 different faces to select from. So it's going to overlay the faces so that you're going to have the best group shot. And then you can also remove moving objects. So if you're having someone who's, accidentally walking into the frame or photobombing, you can go ahead and the camera will automatically know to remove that object or person. So it works fairly well. It doesn't work all the time, depending on the situation. It's a great camera application, but you do have to select it manually. So unfortunately, it's not mapped towards the camera shutter button. So by default, the camera shutter will go ahead and open the Nokia Pro camera. So you do have that. And then for users who are more acquainted with the Windows Phone camera, you can go ahead and launch the default Microsoft developed app as well. So this is the Microsoft app. So if I just tap, it focuses and captures the image right away in one tap. So I don't have to do a 2-tap thing like I would on the Pro Camera app. The nice thing about the camera is that it takes beautiful low light images, and video recording, especially in a loud concert, you're going to get great audio fidelity without much distortion or any at all. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the camera photos that I've taken. Go ahead and take a look here. This one was taken in a dark bar, and you can see once I zoom in, you can go ahead and see a lot more detail. I'm going to go ahead and post a lot of these images up, along with images comparing photos taken with not only the Nokia Lumia 1020, but against the iPhone 5 and the Samsung Galaxy S4 on Gotta Be Mobile. So check out Gotta Be Mobile for the complete written review, where we're going to have more detailed image samples. But the nice thing about the images captured with the Lumia is that if I don't like that, I can go ahead and reframe the images as well. So I can go ahead and zoom in, and if I wanted just to capture the guy's hand, this is at a farmer's market in San Francisco. If I just wanted to capture the guy's hand with the fruit, this could be my new image, and I can save that. But the original would also be kept, and then if I don't like that, I can go ahead and find a different angle. So you can always create new stories and tell different stories with the same image. And then once you do, unlike traditional cropping on a smartphone where the original might be destroyed or not kept, this one, the original is kept. It's saving just what you're seeing on the screen, but you can go ahead and change your mind later if you want to. So if I just wanted to, let's go ahead and just frame the fruits. So that could be my new image. So this is a quick look at some of the software on the Nokia camera application and Windows Phone 8 on the Nokia Lumia 1020. I'm Chang Wen for Gotta Be Mobile. Thanks for joining me in this review of one of the year's hottest smartphones, if not the hottest camera phone on the market today. So do check out Gotta Be Mobile for complete videos and also sample images. Thanks for watching.